So girls, please come in front. முன்னாடி வாங்க. Even the scholars, please come in front. Okay. அப்புறம் பவர் பாயிண்ட் இது இதை கொஞ்சம் மறைச்சி வைங்க, அப்புறமா நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண பேர் ஓப்பன் பண்ணுறேன். அந்த ஃபைல் வச்சிருங்க. இல்லை இல்லை, இப்போ பவர் பாயிண்ட் இருக்குது ஃபெலிக்ஸு, பவர் பாயிண்ட் இருக்குது. ஆமாம், அதான் நீங்கள் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ண பிறகு. Hello. So dear friends, we are going to start the afternoon session. The afternoon technical session. We have the moderator, Lieutenant Dr. K. Sivakumar sir, and the resource person, Dr. P. S. Sengutan sir. Now I invite them on stage, please. Sivakumar sir and Dr. P. S. Sengutan sir. So let's give them a big hand. நல்லா கை தட்டலாம். As a token of appreciation and honor, now I invite our PGHOD, Dr. S. A. V. Susiraj, to come on to stage and don a shawl on Dr. P. S. Sengutan sir. Sir, கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி. Let's give them big. நல்லா கைங்களை தட்டலாம். Thank you, sir. Now over to Dr. K. Sivakumar sir.
Good afternoon to everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais, distinguished guests, respected faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege for me to introduce our esteemed chief guest for today's seminar, Dr. P. S. Sengutan. Dr. Sengutan is a highly respected aviation professional with over 3 decades of distinguished experience in the global aviation industry, encompassing airport and airline planning, strategy, regulation, and management with strong expertise in economic and financial analysis. He began his illustrious career with the Airport Authority of India and later served at Delhi International Airport Private Limited, DA, DIAL as General Manager, Strategic Planning and Economic Research, where he played a key role in shaping one of the India's most successful public-private partnership airport models. From 2013 to 2021, Dr. Senguttuvan served as a ICAO, Air Transport Technical Expert, advising the General Authority of Civil Aviation, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In this international role, he provided strategic guidance on aviation policy formulation, economic regulation framework, and regulatory governance for airport and airlines. His work included air traffic, feasibility studies, airport strategic planning, market intelligence, and financial benchmark of both aeronautical and non-aeronautical revenues. Dr. Senguttuvan's area of specialization include airport traffic determination, capital and financing budget, operational expenditure assessment, asset management, traffic forecasting, capacity and demand analysis, performance management system, and the economic appraisal of public-private partnership airport projects. He has also contributed the global aviation policy as a member at large of World Economic Standing Committee. Complementing his professional career, Dr. Senguttuvan has a strong academic background, having served as a lecturer in economics and later as visiting faculty at reputed institutions teaching aviation economics, planning and management all over the world. Currently, he is the chairman and director of PSJIPS School of Aviation and Aerospace Research, and also worked as an independent aviation consultant, providing advisory services to government, regulators, airports, and academic institutions. We are indeed privileged to have such a distinguished expert and thought leader in aviation among us today. On behalf of the organizers, I extend very warm welcome to our honorable chief guest, Dr. P.S. Senguttuvan, and request him to kindly address the gathering. Once again, welcome you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shivakumar. Very good afternoon to everyone. Respected Head of the Department, Professor Xavier Susiraj, my dear students, and the faculties who have come here for the national seminar. I take this opportunity to thank the HOD of Economics Department for giving me an opportunity to present in my subject. Not they were asking about sustainable agriculture, industry, environmental, but I told them that I'm not expertise in the other subject core areas, but I am expertise in my aviation. However, why I have selected this topic is today we have not been very aware of aviation industry. Today, most of the countries which are developed are completely based on air transportation for economic prosperity, trade, employment generation, and other social obligations. So that is the reason why I want to educate our people, because we have started our institute here in Tirupattur because we want to educate our students in the aviation in order to benefit and get a better employment opportunities at the aviation industry. Today, very demandable job opportunities in the aviation, because aviation has a vast areas to work and earn a very handsome salary, because it's like you will be working under the air condition. It will be like a, what you can say, you will be in the first class where you work. The area which you have been working is very fantastic. And apart from that, your uniforms and your language communication, if you join in the aviation, it will be make you to shine in the life in the future. So that is the reason that we want to educate yourself in the aviation, because aviation is the subject which has been lagging a very long time. Because if you see our academic curriculums and all, we have seen lot of engineering, management, MBA management has come, MSW social work has come, and we have a lot of professional courses were coming. But aviation management was not very popular till 2010. There was no aviation academic curriculum for aviation management. We are the team members from Delhi. We have worked out the curriculum, and the first university of petroleum and energy studies, you must be heard about it. It's a very, very giant university in the northern belt. That means they have in Dehradun. So they have, and they are the first people who have introduced this aviation management, MBA aviation management, and we have framed a curriculum for aviation management, and we have educated some of the students, and they are working in at the airports, airlines, air traffic services, and apart from that, ground handling services and multi areas where they want to work. So that is the reason why we have selected this aviation, and we want to give some highlight about the aviation industries. Thank you very much. Now, this is my topic is called Building a Future-Ready Aviation Ecosystem. So we are thinking about the Viksit Bharat, a sustainable aviation is one of the industry, international levelly, that is International Civil Aviation Organization has laid out the strategic planning for 2026 to 2050 on sustainable air transportation. Sustainable air transportation in terms of economic prosperity, in terms of employment generation, in terms of social empowerment, that is women empowerment, because they want to give more women's job opportunities in the aviation industry. Because today, if you see the statistics when I am highlighting there, we would have seen that only 15% of the women are in the aviation industry. So 85% of the men are working in the aviation. So therefore, the International United Nations, as well as now the Government of India, Director General of Civil Aviation, they have highly recommended to all the service providers like airports, airlines, air traffic services, and other retail markets at the airport is to give more preference to the women. So they have given very clearly advisory note to all the service centers that you have to recruit women's 25% of the total employee of the facilitating service organization. So that is one. And again, we are talking about the developments, infrastructure development, technological developments. So these are the main causes why the ICAO is given more importance on air transport sustainability. So now let us just go about what we are looking at. So I'll just give us an introduction. So you must be learning what is Viksit Bharat 2047 and all that is all a general coining of words that the India wants to transform from developing or underdeveloped or whatever it is to developed nation by 2047. What are the core aspects of that one? That means that India wants to have a self-reliant and the prosperous of the economy. Then the major thing is the criteria for this program, Viksit Bharat, was economic growth, technological upgradation, infrastructure development, social empowerment, and sustainability. So all these things are combined as a core areas to have a Vikshit Bharat by 2047. So for this infrastructure, these are the two policy which has laid out by the central government, Prime Minister Gati Shakti in 2021 and National Logistic Policy in 2022 will be playing a major role in the development of infrastructure, because under the infrastructure we have a transportation, road transport, railways, ports, logistic, and the civil aviation. So these are the core areas which is coming there and going to play a major role in during the Vikshit Bharat by 2047. Next. So now this economic growth. So now why we are saying that 2047, our Prime Minister or our economic finance ministers or whoever are saying that our country should have a GDP. The GDP should have $30 trillion. $30 trillion. Now, how much we are having GDP? What is the GDP is around? 3.8 or 4 trillion dollars. By 2030, we will reach by 6 trillion. We will go above 5 trillion and reach $6 trillion. So therefore, our first expectation is our GDP target should be 20 to 26 trillion. And every analysis or study carried out by the government has the different terminology on this GDP. Some they will say 50, some they say 36, some they say 40 trillion. But it should be have a reasonable growth, you know. Why we can't have a 15% growth or 12% growth of GDP. What is the current GDP is around 6.5% or 6.8% will be the current GDP growth of our country. So therefore, if you take a rational 7 to 8%, which we have fixed 8 to 9% will be reasonable for a long term, about 23 years, we have fixed that 20 trillion or 26 trillion will have a GDP, total value of GDP. Then the structural reforms, the government wants to do a structural reforms in land, innovation, and capital markets and job creation. That is employment opportunities. Then the third one is to realize high income status, that is per capita income. So the per capita income is approximately today is around $2,800 or $3,000 at present. So if you see, I have evaluated that forecasting for the next 23 years. We said that in 2025, the GDP will be at 4.13, 30-35 it will be 8.92, and 40-47 it will reach 26.35 at the growth of 8 to 9%. That is projected growth rate. And when you see the GDP per capita, you can see that GDP per capita will be touching about 10,000 US dollars. So that is the main criteria why India want to build the Vikshit Bharat. That means we have to have a per capita income. When you compare the other countries, all developed countries, the per capita income is approximately around 15,000 and above, $15,000 and above. Whereas, being our country is in the third or fourth in the GDP among the other countries, but per capita income is lower. Why we are saying that per capita low? Why we are saying that very particular about per capita income? Per capita income is very important for sustaining to survive. See, this only what it's a GDP is what that per capita is total population divided by the GDP. That is, you get the per capita income. So that is another point. And the population. What will be the population from 25 to 2047? So this will be growing at the rate of 1.57%. So that is the projected, and we have said that about approximately 2 trillion people will be there in the next one. So now the infrastructure development key focus will be on connectivity, sustainability, and technology. So connectivity is from different modes of transportation. That is roads, railways, seaports, airports, and digitization. That is, we are going to make technologically involvement in their transportation. For example, they want to include the artificial intelligence in the airspace. They want to introduce artificial intelligence in the airports. They want to introduce artificial intelligence in the airline operational performance. Suppose if I want to fly from here to, from Delhi to Singapore, what will be the very fastest route? So in the fastest route, we will save fuel. Number one is saving fuel. And number two is about the sustainable, that is fuel. Fuel is one, and the other one is the flying time. The flying time to the destination will be the shortest. So therefore, when you when you are introducing artificial intelligence, that will give you a clear performance evaluation of the flying machine. So that is the reason why we are saying that digitization. Then sustainability. Sir was talking about in the last speaker was talking about environmental. Here also the environmental plays a very important key role, because aviation is the largest fuel consumer, because when the aircraft consumption is very huge. So if you want to fly, most of the we are spending approximately 40 to 50% of the total expenditure. The cost on the aviation, that is airlines, is completely on fuel. The fuel is affected by carbon dioxide, where you can have the CO2 emission and sound pollution. So these are the areas which they want to control in terms of modernization, technological developments. So that is one thing. Then green energy, then water. Water is also very, he also talked about the last eminent person was talking about the water wastage. So these are the key areas which we are looking into the sustainability. Next we are talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. And it will lead to the core objective of economic growth, rural development, high quality of life, and digital integration. See, these are the major key focus in the Viksit Bharat to reach 2047. Now, infrastructure and economic development. So we are talking about the infrastructure. Public infrastructure is a backbone of our economic development, which is having a trade and overall quality of 10 lakh crores in the development of infrastructure, roads, railways, ports, and airports. And these are the significant development we want to see in this one was roads, railways, ports, logistic development, and civil aviation. So now our core area is about civil aviation, so we'll go into the civil aviation. This is airport. Now I want to give what is the share of gross value added for the transportation. The overall transportation was approximately 5.5%. The total gross value added from the transportation. And we have segregated the modes. We have segregated road, railways, then waterways, air transportation, and the transportation services, which are all giving the gross value added and making total of 5.5% of the total GDP. Next one. So the aviation sector, when you want to see the aviation sector, so you can see what is our India's traffic. Our India's traffic is around 411 million passengers, including domestic as well as international. And China is around 740 million. In Asia Pacific is around 3,400 million. That is approximately 3.4 billion passengers are moving. Worldwide, it's approximately 9.5 billion passengers are flying through aviation, that is air transport mode. And now, by seeing all this performance, that is the aviation performance, you have the economic and social development. Any industry deals with the economic and social development. What is aviation supports? Business, investment decision, access to capital, new markets, knowledge transfer, and innovation. Now it is the catalyst. One more. It is a catalyst. It is a catalyst for employment, economic activity, trade, investment, and global connectivity. So we have said about what is the traffic growth during the last 10 years from 2011 to 19. That time the traffic was very, very high, and during the COVID it has been major impacted. About 66% of the traffic has been dropped. So the 3 years has been there, and from 2023-24, it is recovered. The air transport has recovered from the traffic. So here we will have a ripple effect. What is the ripple effect? If I invest $1, I will be generating 3 times of the value which I am investing. Similarly, it also creates 6 times of job opportunities. So therefore, it is a very vital part to say that aviation has a very strong ripple effect. In 2024, the industry market size is approximately $15 billion, US dollars. And if you want to see the share of the global India is having 4.2% of the global traffic, and in the Asia Pacific, it's about 12% on the Asian traffic, then the air traffic. Next. So this is the projected market value. We are projected up to 2047. So at present, we have around 15. In 2035, it is approximately 46.15. And in 2045, it's going to be 143.34. And in 2047, we will be having 201.39 US billion dollars. Right. So the next is now the country-wise air travel trips per capita. The air travel per capita is based on population and the seat availability. How much is the seats available in India will be divided by the population of the country. So that will give you the per capita travel. If you see the US, if you see the Singapore, how much they have? 4.11. So they can travel, one person can travel 48 times in a year. Whereas India, we are having the least that is around 0.12. That means in a year, a person can travel one time. So therefore, this is the per capita of the country-wise trip of air travel. Next one. Now, what is the components of aviation industry? These are the components. And the more important is the passengers and cargo is the facilitation. That is the service provided by the aviation. And these are the components. Aircraft manufacturers, airlines, airports, ground handling services, air traffic management, regulatory management, and international organization. So these all the components makes the people to move in the aircraft. So that is the major components which we have. Aircraft manufacturers, you are traveling, you heard about Boeing, you heard about Airbus, Embraer. So there are a lot of aircraft manufacturing companies are there. So they are producing the aircraft. And that aircraft is used by the operator, airline operators. So in India, we have 13 domestic airline operators and 80 international airline operators. It works here. So approximately 100 airlines are operating in India. Similarly, airports, we have approximately today, about 152 airports are operationalized. And the government wants to increase from 152 to 350 by 2047. So they want to develop the airports in order to have a connectivity. You must be heard about Hosur, you heard about Vellore, you heard about Kuppam. So you are going to have 3 airports in and around you, Tirupati. So around 3 airports is going to come within 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. So the airport will be very close to you. So you will be traveling through airport, on the airport sector. Next is ground handling services. Ground handling services is, suppose an airline wants to have a ground handling services in the terminal or at the air side. So they will use this ground handling people. And they also looks after the passengers as well as the cargo. Next is air traffic management. Air traffic management is airspace management. Airspace management means you will have air traffic controllers who will be looking and talking to the pilots in order to oversee the airspace management and also to increase the capacity of the airspace to meet the increasing demand of the passengers. So that is air traffic management. Regulatory management. So I said about, last time I told about DGCA. DGCA is the only authority for regulations of aviation. And there is one more regulators are called security, that is BSF. Border Security Force will have a completely look around the airports, looking around the airport area. And the other one is we have is CSIF. If you go to the airport, the CSI airport will, CSI peoples are working at the airport. So these are the three regulatory agencies operating at the airport. Then the international organization like ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, they are the world's regulator. They will be regulating and putting the standard operating procedures. Standard operating procedures. So all the countries has to follow the ICAO regulated management. And then there is an IATA, International Air Transport Association, which is for airlines. So there are about 182 airlines approximately, so are under the IATA. And there is one more is called ACI, Airport Council International. So the Airport Council is, there in the worldwide, there are about 1,700 airports, 1,700 airports. So that Airport Council will look into that. Airports to collect all the information about the finance, about the economics, about the traffic, all they will collect and put into the system. So these are the components of aviation industries. Now, what is the economic impact? What is the outcome? What will be the economic impact? That means we talked about the Viksit Bharat, end of the day, the GDP. So we are talking about what is the contribution of aviation in the GDP. So here we have seen here, in the year 2024, we have aviation has generated 53.70, and in 2034 it is 167.24, and it is reaching 2047 it will be around 653.69 billion dollars is generated from the aviation industries. Next is we have the same, we have made a separated airlines how much is contributing, airports is how much contributing, air navigation is how much contributing, and the other supply chain management, that is logistic, and duty-free shops, retail management, then tourism, induced impact. So we have seen in that one. So here we have brought that under these three categories: direct, indirect, induced. So the same. What is the GDP share now? It's approximately 1.5% of the India's contribution, aviation. And in 2034, it will go up to 2%. And in 2044, it will be around 2.5%. And 2047, it will be around 2.7%. That is the contribution of aviation in the country's GDP. Now, when you talk about the employment, here is a very important point where you want to keep an eye on this. See how much employment is created. 7.7 million. That means 70 lakhs of employment is generated through aviation. Direct, indirect, as well as induced. That is tourism oriented. So they are generating 70 lakhs of employment generation in the year 2024. And this will project in next 10 years, it will increase to, it will double. See, you see 17, 18 million people will be getting an opportunities in the aviation industry. By 2024, we'll have 38, and in 2047, it will have 46.15. So therefore, the industry is totally employment generated industry. So it is not only airlines, it is airports, there are so many components are there. So therefore, if you are very particular in, you have to enter into the, because I don't know how many people are entered aviation in our district. I don't know. Well, there is one person from Gudiyatham, and I am here. Those who are two are working in the, I have worked in the aviation. Whether how many people are working, we don't know. So there is a lot of opportunities. So create your opportunities. Think about, you're just going to the bank or whatever it is. This is a very good jobs where you can enter and get a very good handsome salary, right? So that is the year, that is the reason why we have given the employment generation of this aviation industries. Next. So now the connectivity index. The connectivity index is about the available seats from a country which scores up to best. That means I have taken 2015 as a base 100 index. So now in 2024, the international is go up by 20%, and the domestic, international is 13%, and domestic is 20%. So it is 120 is the connectivity index for the country at the current scenario. Next. Now this is the traffic volume which we have seen today. The international and domestic passenger, how much is international and what is the growth rate? You can see the growth rate by 10.7%. Domestic is about 9.1% and the total is 9.4%. So the industry growth is very high, that is about 9% is the industry growth. Similarly, the freight, the cargo is also increasing by 10.2%. Aircraft movements, the aeroplane take-ups and lands has also grown at the rate of 8%. So the overall industry is growing at the rate of approximately 9% of the total business. Next question. Now this is the traffic growth. We have taken a benchmark from different countries. So we have taken approximately 12 to 15 countries and we have compared how much India is growing. So if you see the global benchmark, at the global level it's about 9.5%. India is growing more or less equal, that is approximately 9.40. So we are more or less to the global level. And if you see the UK, Russia, South Africa, all are at less than 5%, which are growing at the market. So these are the countries which we have a high, that is India, Australia, Asia Pacific, Saudi Arabia and China. So these are the where you have a huge market. So therefore these are the growth oriented market, growth oriented countries. Next. Now this is the factors. What are the factors that influencing air transport? So the demand side is rising disposable income. So the demand factors, these are the demand side factors. Middle class, growing middle class, urbanization, consumerism, airlines business model, and fleet expansion on the supply side, infrastructure development, and government policies. And the economic and market value is economic growth, foreign direct investment, connectivity, and technological development. So these are the factors which is influencing the air traffic industry to grow. Next question. Next. So this is a projected demand which we have seen from that passengers. We have seen that 2025, 412, it goes to 2 billion passengers, approximately, from million to billion, 2047. Similarly, cargo and flight is also increasing at the same growth. Next. So this is the traffic proportion region-wise. So south is having the maximum traffic, southern region. So we have more airports. In southern, we have more airports. Even though northern region is having more airports, but the traffic is not that much consolidated. So south is having a maximum of 32% and it will grow by 45, 35%. So this is the traffic proportion. Next. So this is the supply projections. What will be in the 2047? So we have aircraft fleet expansion from 866 to 2,400. Airline operators, today we have 13 airline operators and it will reach to 29 operators. Airports from 150 to 312 and ground handling services from 5 to 12 because there will be handling more airlines, more airports, more ground handling services that will influence the employment opportunities in the aviation industries. So this is air navigational service, which is airspace management. The government is spending approximately 17,000 crores in order to develop these airports. So 5 airports, which is having 100 ATMs, 8 airports are about 100 ATMs. So these are the towers, air navigation services, and the new tower which the government wants to construction. These are all the projects which will be projected and built for the next 23 years to expand the capacity of the aviation transportation. Next. So this is the employment category. What is the employment category is very clearly given here. Airline, airports, ATC, cargo, MRO, government agency, security, and other, all these things which we have highlighted here. So you can see that airline, airport, and ground handling have the largest employer. So we have thus more employer in this category. Next. So this is the country aviation generated employment in million. So India has produced about 7.7, US is 7.60, China is having 10 million. So you can see the slides, you can circle it. Xavier sir, professor, so you can give to the students about all these things. They will look into that. This is the employment generated. And I have projected the direct employment, indirect employment, induced employment, tourism-oriented employment. For the next 23 years, what is the growth rate, which I have made it very here. So this is where the employment will be generated from the aviation industry part. So this is promoting gender equality. So the government of India is giving more importance to the women's. So they want to have 25% of the women's in the aviation industry. So we have given, what is the current percentage? Approximately male percentage is 84%, and today is female of working in the aviation is only 15%. So the government wants to give more importance to the women in the aviation industry. Next. So this is the direct employment from airline, all these things which we have segregated everything. Next. Next. So what is the path to develop the nation? So the policy instruments. This is the last slides which I want to finish up now, wind up. See the policy instrument, the government has made a very policy in 2024, Aircraft Act, which they want to, after 50 years they have renewed the Aircraft Act. And regional collectivity, they have introduced the regional collectivity called Udan scheme. The Udan scheme is given by the government to connect the regional stations. That is approximately 498 routes. 498 routes at present. The airlines has explored around 50% of that. Remaining 50% is left over. So the government is looking into that regional connectivity. And the next one is foreign direct investment. So they are also defining the policy. 100% is the automatic policy to the government, which they can, anybody, any country can invest on the aviation. Then market reforms. They want to do the market reforms and the environmental. That is, we want to do about the fueling, CO2, noise pollution, all these things will come under the environmental. Then airport modernization. The airport modernization is one of the important key areas where they want to upgrade the airports, all the airports in the country. Next is strategic planning capacity. That is airport capacity index and ATC modernization. So they have to increase the space, airspace, in order to expand the capacity at the airports. And the next one is investment. The government wants to invest greenfield airports, new airports at tier 2 and 3 capacity expansion. National monetization. Our finance minister was talking about national monetization is about 25 airports are going to or under the pipeline for national monetization. Then technology and digitalization, that is e-gate, digital ANS, PAX, passenger self-service, all this will be included in the technology and digital. Then market forces, rising income, urban fleet expansion. So the environmental and sustainability, I already told about the fuels, energy efficient operations, carbon mitigations, and at the same as cost and supply constraints are significant. Then the skill gaps and regulatory complexity. So that is skill gaps means that is the very most important, that is the skill employee will be required for the aviation industry. Therefore, the human capital and skill development has to be augmented. It has to be given. So the government of India has given a lot of institute to start the skill development in the aviation industry. So this is about where the path to reach the Viksit Bharat by 2047 in order to increase your economic growth, employment, social empowerment, education, agriculture, industry. So this is the way which we have put into the last conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I think I have bored you.
So, dear friends, myself and Dr. Sengutuvan, we both of us are studying in this college BA Economics. So, he is my classmate. புரியுதா? நாங்கள் ரெண்டு பேரும் இங்கே பிஏ ஒன்றா படித்தோம். அவர் எவ்வளோ பெரிய ஆளாக இருக்கிறார் பாரு. ஒரு இன்ஸ்டியூட்டில் டைரக்டர், பல நாடுகளில் பல ஃப்ளைட்டில் பல ஏர் இதை பார்த்துட்டு அவர் ஒரு இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கார். இதுதான் நம்முடைய பொருளாதாரத்துறையினுடைய வளர்ச்சி. புரியுதா? ஸோ ஆகவே சார், on behalf of myself, Dr. Sengutuvan, on behalf of myself and the Department of Economics, we wholeheartedly thank you and congratulate you.
Dear students, there is no interaction actually. That is what I was telling to my research scholar. You are all becoming the captive audience. So just 1 minute, I have 3 observations. You have to answer for all the 3 within 1 minute also. First one, what is the current activity going on in PPP mode? Public private partnership you are emphasizing, whether any activity is going on now. No model, now nothing is happening, okay.
Because the government is looking for national monetization. That
Okay.
means that is the 25, that by 2026 they are going to put into that one.
Okay sir, thank you. Second one with respect to, I think in Bangalore, that airport, we heard that first it gets given to Singapore, then to Tata, then it has been given up. So why it is happening? You are telling about foreign direct investment, but you are not allowing Singapore to come to Bangalore and construct the airport. Why?
So that depends upon the technical, because at Delhi airport we had a Singapore people who come and worked under the for the dial GMR. Whereas at Bangalore previously that was handled by GVK.
Okay.
Then it was transferred to some other organization. So now I think they are not interested to give to the international segment. It
Okay, the
depends-
last one, third one. What happened to this Indigo fiasco? Latest problem, nobody has talked about that. This much of damage it has done. But why? Why nobody talked about that? Why nothing has happened? You are telling about the governance, you are telling about so many regulations, one of the components, but nothing has happened.
To be very honest, I should not say about it. But however, since I have been
You are retired, you are eligible to answer.
yeah, but at the same time, I am working with some governments also. But I have to be very careful in telling. But the reason is we have lost our Air India. That is the biggest problem. There should be any industry should have a competitiveness. There is no competitive. They are given a low cost carrier. Today they are having approximately 500 aircrafts. Even Air India doesn't have that 500 aircraft. They were having only 130 aircrafts. And they have sold that Air India at a very cheaper price, 18,000 crores. You know what is the trade that slots which they have given? The slots itself is cost very high, because Air India slots worldwide is there. Worldwide Air India's slots is there. The worldwide slot is approximately, it will fetch something about 1 billion, more than 1 billion value of slots. So therefore the government has not taken any, that is the reason why these all the things which were.
Thank you, sir.
For,
Thank you, sir. Can you give a big applause to Dr. P.S. Sengutuvan?
So I take this opportunity to thank Dr. P.S. Sengutuvan sir for wonderfully presenting. Also, we had a wonderful interaction. So on behalf of the department and behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank sir. Now we are moving to the next technical session. That is, now we have the paper presentation. We'll have parallel sessions. Okay, one technical session, 1 and 4 will be here. 2 and 3 will be in the Y-axis. Next to the building we have Y-axis. So technical one session, already the paper presenters, the name list has been displayed there. Anyway, I will try to read it once again so that you will be familiar. Okay, technical session 1 and 4. You please remain here, the paper presenters. Technical session 2 and 3 will be in the Oasis. Just I will read out the names. All the PG students, you please go to the Oasis. All the PG students, you please go to the Oasis. So technical session 2, that is there, Oasis. Let me read it out. Andrea, PhD Research Scholar, Loyola College. Mr. I. Muhammad Rashid, PhD Research Scholar, PhD College of Arts and Science. Musambil, Research College, PG Research in Department of Economics, Sacred Heart College. Maria Melosha, MBA Department, Sacred Heart College. Sri Jenny Ganguly, Research Scholar, Loyola College. Ranjita, Assistant